welcome to week 9 of your writing lessons. This week we're going to start with similes and metaphors, and then we're going to be planning and writing our own setting description of the hills and the house. So just a quick recap on similes and metaphors. So we have similes, use an indirect comparison, and metaphors use a direct comparison. So for example, you would say as quick as a fox, or like a slippery eel. So if you see the words as or like, you know that it is a simile. Whereas metaphors directly compare it, so they are that object, or they are that thing. So we've got some ideas, some examples here rather. So Jess is as graceful as a gazelle. I'm comparing Jess to the gazelle and the way that she moves. I've used as graceful as a gazelle, so I know it is a simile. Jess is dynamite. I'm being direct there. I'm saying she is dynamite. That's how exciting she is. So that is a metaphor. A wave of terror washed over him. So terror isn't actually a wave, but we're saying it is that kind of the wave motion to help the reader or audience visualise or understand the way that he's feeling. So I can't see like or as, and it is saying that the terror was a wave, so I'm going to say that is a metaphor. It was as slippery as an eel. I know it is a simile. The snake moved like a ripple on a pond. So I've got my word like there to compare the snake, so I know it is a simile. Have a go now at identifying similes and metaphors, writing your own. Get some really good examples when it comes to your plan it and your write it. Good luck. Okay, this is lesson 3. So you should have written your similes and metaphors, you should have done your reconstruct and close procedures, and today we're going to look at planning, but we're going to do it a little bit differently than we normally do in school. So what I've given you is a series of questions. So you don't have to answer every question, but it's just some ideas to get you thinking about what you are actually going to be describing in the setting. So I've got some examples of how I would answer those questions, and then it's up to you to go and use your collect it, use your own ideas to get that description down in your planning box. Okay, so I've taken 3 examples of the questions. So the first one is, what do the clouds look like? So I've chosen to write 3 examples for each question, so it's up to you if you want to do 1, 2 or 3. I think having a couple will definitely help you when it comes to writing. So what do the clouds look like? I've described them as a congregation of clouds lit up. So I can say, in the sky, a congregation of clouds lit up. Or passing by, a congregation of clouds lit up the sky. Clouds were ruffling in ripples, so I've got my alliteration in there as well. Same with congregation of clouds. And puffs of white magic. So there I'm using a kind of metaphor to describe the magical nature of the clouds. Okay, the next one, how are the flowers moving? I've said they are ruffling in the breeze. I've said each petal moving in turn. And I've said that their long stalks were bending. I've also described them as being aromatic, which means that you can smell them. What can you imagine hearing? So having a look at the pictures, imagine yourself in a field or a meadow, or if you're at the park, imagine what you would be hearing around you. So I've said birdsong flutters in the wind, the sound of rippling trees, and birdsong was the river of the air. So I've got my 3 or 4 examples for each one. So it's your chance now to go and answer those questions with as much detail as possible. Make sure you're including similes and metaphors, and being really precise with your language. Okay? Once you have completed this lesson, pause and then replay, ready for lesson 4 for Write It. Good luck. Okay, this is lesson 4, Write It. All I've done today is I've written out my first paragraph so you can have an idea of what it would look like to piece together those phrases that you answered in your planner yesterday. So I've underlined in my green pen there the phrases that I've planned in my planet. So I said soaring gracefully because I described how the clouds are moving. And I've said early morning because I've said what time of day. Congregation of clouds, I've used that phrase that I planned yesterday. Each of their stalks bending to the rhythm of the breeze. Again, that's taken straight from my planet. Far in the distance, vast craggy mountains. So I said where the mountains are, they're far in the distance. What do they look like? I've described it. I've put them together and I found it really, really easy to do my Write It today. So I'm just going to read through the first paragraph all together. So, soaring gracefully across the early morning sky, a congregation of clouds obscures the vivid sunshine. A smattering of wild heather and charming tulips cover the hills, each of their stalks bending to the rhythm of the breeze. Far in the distance, vast craggy mountains tower over the horizon. Okay, so use all the language you've collected, use your planet. You can use my beginning of my Write It to help you. And I'd love to see some of your writing, so if you want to send some to me to read, you can do. Good luck.